Hello guys, welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to discuss how to move to the Czech Republic. And here are the topics we're going to cover. We're gonna start with a little bit of an intro, talking about where is Czechia, and then move to residence permits in the Czech Republic for EU and non-EU citizens. Then we're gonna talk about the main part of the video, which is the residence permit for self-employed persons and business owners in the country. Moving on to getting a permanent resident permit in Czechia, and finally the Czech citizenship. To end the video, the advantages and disadvantages of living in Czechia. And before we start the usual talk, you already know it. If you want to travel, move or invest abroad, hit the like button, check our other videos, book a consultation call with me. The link is in the description. It includes not only a call, but also 1 year of unlimited email follow-ups as you go through your immigration journey. And don't forget to subscribe! Let's start. Czechia is a landlocked nation in Central Europe, positioned strategically in the heart of the continent. The country has a rich history of being influenced and ruled by various empires over the centuries. In its more recent history, it was a part of Czechoslovakia, and it went through significant geopolitical changes during the end of the 20th century. In 1993, the country peacefully split into two independent states, the Czech Republic, the one we're going to talk about today, and Slovakia. Currently, the Czech Republic is a proud member of the European Union, having joined in 2004 alongside Cyprus, Malta, Slovakia, Slovenia, and other Central European nations. Additionally, Czech is part of the Schengen area, the so desired Schengen area, which facilitates the free movement of people within this zone. The country, however, has not adopted the euro currency and is one of the few in the European Union with its own national currency, called the Czech crown or koruna. With a robust economy and stable currency, the Czech Republic stands as a well-developed nation within the European Union. It offers an attractive destination for those seeking residence, most for those willing to move to Europe as freelancers or to start a business, which will be the main topic in this video. Now let's delve into the details of residence permits in Czechia for both EU and non-EU citizens. As usual, we'll start with EU citizens. If you are a citizen of the European Union, you can just come to the Czech Republic without much hassle. If you want to stay more than 3 months in the country, you need to register your stay, but that's fairly simple and easy. You will need an address to register your stay, but as I said, it is a pretty straightforward process. Then the hard part, as usual, getting a residence permit in Czechia as a non-EU citizen. If you are a non-EU citizen in Czechia, like in any EU country, it is much harder to actually get residency. The most common types of residence permits in Czechia are for employment, or if you have a family member in the country. For employment, it is easier to get a residence permit if you are a health worker or if you have a high-paying job in sectors like IT and finance. Czechia does not have many options for non-EU citizens when it comes to residence permits for people with independent means, but the ones it offers are actually pretty good, mostly aimed at freelancers or business owners. The Czech Republic is, in my opinion, the best option to live in Europe if you are a self-employed person and you come from outside the EU. In Czechia, you can get a residence permit as a freelancer, obtaining a trading license known as živnostenské oprávnění, or popularly referred as živno. The requirements are quite low, and it applies to a number of professions. So if you're a software developer, or you work with marketing, or even if you earn commissions as a salesperson, all of these can benefit from getting a residence permit as a self-employed person in the Czech Republic. Moreover, taxes are quite low in Czechia compared to most EU countries for self-employed people, so definitely a winning deal here. Alternatively, it is also possible to start a physical business in the Czech Republic, such as a restaurant or a grocery store, for example. The requirements for this type of residence permit for business are lower in Czechia than in some of its neighbors. In Czechia, you will not need to hire locals or invest a minimal amount of money as it happens in the majority of Western European countries. With an investment as low as 10,000 euros, you may have a good chance, if you have a good business plan, to move to Czechia as a freelancer and successfully stay in the country. Then, if you manage to stay in the country, you can think about getting a Czech permanent residence permit. The main requirement here is living in the country for 5 years as a non-EU citizen. Then you'll be able to apply for permanent residency in the country. Being a permanent resident will give you much more rights than as a temporary resident, such as full unrestricted access to the job market. And then finally, if you have been a good permanent resident in the country, the last step of full integration to Czech society would be getting Czech citizenship. For most people, being eligible to become a Czech citizen usually involves living in the country for 10 years before you can apply for citizenship. Out of these 10 years, 5 should be living in the country as a permanent resident. Now let's discuss the advantages and disadvantages of living in the Czech Republic. Starting with the advantages. One of the most flagrant advantages of moving to the Czech Republic is the fact that you will be living in the Schengen area and in a country member of the European Union. This brings a number of advantages that go beyond traveling with no borders around the Schengen Treaty countries. You also have great advantages if you are running a business with clients based in other countries in the bloc, for example. Say you have clients in Germany, it will be much easier to work with them and get paid than, let's say, in some other European country which is not in the EU, such as Albania or Moldova. Next advantage, stable economy. Another advantage that is definitely worth mentioning about living in Czechia is that you'll be living in a country with a very stable economy. Despite the fact that the Czech Republic doesn't use the euro currency, but its national currency, the koruna is actually pretty stable and has been so since the country got independent in the 90s. So having physical assets like real estate in the country or fiat currency deposited in a Czech bank is probably a better idea than doing the exact same thing in a country, let's say, like Turkey or Zimbabwe. Even when we compare the Czech economy with other countries in Europe, the stability of the Czech Republic deserves a medal. Hungary, for example, a country that could be as stable as Czechia in its economy, is actually in a much worse condition, and its local currency is much more subject to volatility and other problems than Czechia. Another example we can give is Greece, which, despite being a member of the European Union and using the euro as its currency, went bankrupt a few times in the past decades, and the country even experienced bank runs and capital controls in its recent economic history. Moreover, to make Czechia even more attractive to you, I can tell you that tax rates in the country are lower and less complicated than most EU countries, with a few exceptions. So if you're working remotely, you'll pay much less taxes by becoming a resident of Czechia than if you live in Germany, Belgium, France, and most other Western European countries. The last key advantage of living in the Czech Republic that I can mention is safety. The Czech Republic is one of the safest countries in the European Union. If you compare Prague with major cities in France, Germany, or the UK, for example, Prague is a much safer city. If you want to walk at 4 AM, you definitely want to do that in Prague and not in Frankfurt, Brussels, or London. Moving on to the disadvantages. There are actually very few disadvantages of living in the Czech Republic, but let's explore some of the aspects that some people might consider disadvantages about living in this country at the heart of Europe. The cost of living is the first disadvantage. Currently in Czechia, the cost of living is from moderate to high, especially when we consider moving to Prague or even to Brno, the second largest city in the country. Long gone are the days that the Czech Republic was this mysterious place in Eastern or Central Europe, with a weird currency, a little known language, and extremely affordable prices. Those days are gone. As a matter of fact, living in Prague is more expensive than a number of cities in France, the UK, or Spain. So one cannot expect to be saving a lot in the cost of living by moving to the Czech Republic, if you're coming from most parts of Europe. Sure, if you come from Switzerland, New York, or Singapore, you can still feel that you are saving money by living in Prague, but that doesn't really apply to most people. The other important disadvantage is that it takes quite a long time to get citizenship in the country. Getting Czech citizenship is not an easy task. If you're planning to move to the country with the main goal of becoming a Czech citizen, you will have to be very patient. Most residents of the Czech Republic will need to live in the country, as I said before, for 10 years before they are eligible to apply. For EU citizens, that is a bit easier, as you will need to live just 8 years in the country before you can apply. But still, it is considerably more than countries like Portugal or France, where you can apply for citizenship in most cases after living just 5 years in the country. That's it for today's video. Write down below immediately your opinion about the Czech Republic. What do you like about it, what you don't like about it, and what are your expectations about moving to the Czech Republic. And don't forget to like the video if it was useful. Check our other videos for more information to move to different countries. Book a consultation call, link is there waiting for you in the description, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. See you next time!